Dear ghost of the ZENIN, just what shall you do? What's up, guys? Here we are to do a little breakdown slash discussion on what Maki ZENIN, the ghost of the ZENIN, the great destroyer, what her role shall be in this final and decisive battle in the uninhabited demon-infested Shinjuku, part 3849. Because Maki, oh Maki, oh Maki, there's been a bunch, and I mean a bunch of discussion about Maki, but unfortunately, it's not necessarily been in the best of light. It's either downgrading her in the power scaling sense, it's calling her a fraud, it's knocking her down, or beating her up. So of course, I do want to discuss my own thoughts on what her hypothetical role should be, or could be, in the grand scheme of this final battle of Jujutsu Kaisen. Or penultimate battle, if you think we're still going to get something after this fight, whether that be the merger, whether that be One Finger SUKUNA, whether that be something Maki should have some sort of role to play. So let's talk about what hypothetical role she could play. And by doing that, I must say, we have no more time to waste. Editing me. Ready. 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Maki ZENIN has not shown up on this battlefield. Like she's just not here. Like trust me, I've been looking. She's not here. 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 She's nowhere to be. She's nowhere. This woman has been gone. The last time we saw Maki in the current day is chapter 236. Every other time we've seen Maki on panel after that point has been a flashback of some sort. We have not seen this woman in months. Like months plural. 236 came out last year. We're in the middle of February right now. We have not seen this woman in forever and a day. So, naturally, people are wondering, where the heck is she? Because obviously, everyone else has shown up. Like, legitimately, I think we've run out of characters to pull out of our back pocket. Like, the only characters who haven't shown up are genuinely useless. Like, Inumaki. And that thing! Panda. And, like, Miwa. And unfortunately, unless you're one of the Miwa hype beasts, you know Miwa's genuinely useless. But like literally everyone else has shown up. Hakari Kinji showed up to the battlefield, has started cooking. Kusakabe, someone who didn't even want to be on the battlefield, showed up and started cooking somewhat. Higuruma showed up to the battlefield, started cooking, and then got cooked. Choso showed up to the battlefield, and also got cooked. Ino showed up to the battlefield, also got cooked. Like, at least they're showing up though. They've appeared. They've done things so far. And of course, even the legendary bush camper himself, Yuta Kotsu, he showed up. And showed out, realistically. Bro was doing fantastic. Heck, he took down the other main villain in one tap. And stopped his gigantic, chaotic massacre. Sure, he fumbled a little tiny bit, in the sense that Tengen got away. But hey, for how much of backpacking he was doing and has been doing, we can definitely let this slide. Boy got caught off guard by the fact that Kenny was a talking head. Of course, whatever you may think about that aside, he still took Kenny out relatively quickly and is now currently backpacking the main effort against the King of Curses with his own domain expansion. He's cooking. Ichido Ryuji, he showed up and he started cooking. Mink, 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 mink. Everyone is here. Call it Smash Brothers Ultimate, except for Maki. This is like if Smash Brothers Ultimate got announced, and then Marth wasn't in the game. Sure. Is Marth the most important character? No. Actually, no. Was Marth in the first Smash Bros? I don't think he was. I think maybe he was. I actually forget if Marth was in the first Smash Bros. Who was the original Smash Bros roster? Well, actually, no. It's as if Captain Falcon, right? Let's say it's as if Captain Falcon did not show up in Ultimate. Everybody else did. Well, actually, I guess Ultimate's the weird comparison. It wouldn't be Ultimate. But then again, everyone here goes to the Ultimate. But essentially, everyone else has shown up. The Queen of Curses, while unmanifested, has shown up and started clocking. But I'm sorry, Manga, what did you call her? The demonic fighter equal to Toji Zenin that was fully realized over 50 chapters ago still hasn't shown up and done anything? That's the word. Like, and notably, while I personally do not put Maki on Fraud Watch, just like I was jokingly putting Yuta on Fraud Watch way back when he wasn't cooking anything. I can understand why people are starting to question it, because at this point it's getting to absurd lengths, right? And like, notably, at least until the stakes were kind of lowered again in 250 in comparison to where they were in 249, where Yuta believed, oh, this man could get his domain back at any second. It may still be the case that every single moment Maki does not show up, her effectiveness is slowly but surely dwindling. Because one of the main reasons she's useful as she is right now is reasons we'll get to soon enough, but also for the fact that SUKUNA does not have access to his domain expansion. Meaning that he would have to actively target her. And not just put up my level and shrine and watch her get dismantled to oblivion. He would actually have to deal with her properly. Which, when he's fighting someone like Yuta Okotsu, and fighting someone like Itadori Yuji, and fighting something like the Queen of Curses, it wouldn't be too easy to do. But she's just not here. She's just verbatim isn't. She's done nothing up to this point, other than pat Yuta on the back and send him out to start cooking. And admittedly, Yuta definitely started cooking. Don't get me wrong. He definitely, bro hopped up in the kitchen, wrist a whipping. He's going to make a fantastic house husband for Maki 10 years from now. But at least in this moment, it's very, very questionable. So I understand why people are starting to raise the red flags. Especially when characters who seem way less important, no offense to Akari Kinshi, but way less important, are getting their own full-scale, full-stage fights. Like, Akari versus Urume. Sure, is a battle of the side protagonist and the side antagonist? Absolutely. But still, Urume's a monster, a beast, a demon, a creature of unknown varieties, powers, background, ability, all that. So the fact that Akari Kinshi's getting his own direct fight with them goes to show that, yeah, even characters who should, in the general scheme of things, be less important than Maki, realize Akari didn't exist in Volume 0, but Maki did, and Maki recently did get a fat, juicy amp. Well, recently, 50 chapters ago at this point. It's like a fifth of the narrative ago. But still, she got a fat, juicy amp, and she's yet to do anything. Ever since her last performance in 215, where she got off-guarded and one-tapped by Urume. Well, not one-tapped. Like, she was frozen. But still, technically, that kind of low-key counts as a one-tap. She's kind of just been sitting in the Shadow Realm. She had one cool jumping with Itadori and has done nothing. So, the question naturally is, 1, where is she? 2, why has she done anything? And 3, what can her role be? So, to answer the simplest one, where is she? She's not on the battlefield. She's most likely watching. For the longest time before this ended up getting hard confirmed, a lot of us, and by us, I mean the Maki Meat Munchers, myself included, were low-key hoping that she was here to back up Yuta, like sticking in the background, but 249 basically hard confirmed she was nowhere near this area ever. Because Yuta explicitly says to himself, should I have stayed and lent my full support to the plan involving the Executioner's Sword? Would Maki have been better suited for sneaking up on Kenjaku? No. So, like, it's implied that it was thought about, it was mentioned, it was a possibility that Maki could have Kenjaku, but clearly not the case. She wasn't there. And she clearly isn't here. So the question is, where is she? She's not on the battlefield. If I had to take a guess, she's likely lingering some point in between, or she's with Ueui and Kirara, monitoring both battlefields. Presumably, there's a crow sent after these two to watch how this one's going, and there's a crow still watching this one. And we even know there's a crow still watching this one, because when we see the utilization of Charles's technique, Charles himself makes an appearance and is watching, and he specifically questions what's going on inside the barrier, which implies there is a crow still flying about broadcasting it. Sukuna did not execute all the crows. The crows are still alive and monitoring the situation, meaning Maki's most likely still there and still watching with the teleporters. Well, teleporter and Kirara. Most likely she's chilling with those two. If I had to take a guess where she is. Why? Ultimately, Maki's kind of a... Here's the thing. There's no reason for her to not intervene in this fight in particular. Like, we'll talk about this in a second, and why I think it's heavily likely that she may appear here over anywhere else. But, like, I understand why they're keeping Maki on standby. Number 1, you'll remember what Maki's main weapon is. It's the Soul Split Katana. And sure, that's fantastic. It negates the durability and bypasses the toughness of most things by directly attacking the soul. As stated here, the blade at my left was a replica of this cursed tool, Soul Split Katana, or Split Soul Katana. It can bypass the toughness of many substances to cut the soul. However, exerting that power fully requires eyes that can observe even the souls of inorganic matter. But if you go back to 215, a question she very verbatim asks is, Can Megami can we heal this with RCT? They don't know what kind of damage that would do. Notably, Maki understands that she can cut the soul, but we still don't exactly know what cutting the soul does and how much permanent damage that could do to somebody. Notably, we see this here, where Noya, he gets pierced by Soul Split, and he proceeds to be unable to heal, which does seem to exercise him, but at the same time, we see Daido, who also, seemingly enough, can use Soul Split rather effectively. Naoya heals from that, but at the same time, Naoya's a cursed spirit versus Megumi. And, like, we're not sure how much the soul thing mixes or organizes or anything with that with Soul Split. So, sure, maybe Megumi can heal some Soul Split, but remember, we're very specifically working on the hypothetical in the hope that Megumi can still be saved. That's this whole scenario right now. Casting Jacob's Ladder, having Yuji punch the soul apart, isn't just to weaken Sukuna so they can execute him, it's to weaken Sukuna so that they can save Megumi. And ultimately, sure, Maki could immediately come in and Sukuna's head right off, especially while he's distracted by the new strongest sorcerer of the modern day, the former vessel of the King of Curses, and the Queen of Curses, all ganking this man to oblivion. And she could just immediately come in and his head right off, but then Megumi's good. And we've sacrificed too many people to just give up on Megumi now. From Gojo to Higuruma to Kashimo, we've sacrificed a whole bunch of people to try and save Megumi, so thusly, using Maki to immediately drop Sukuna, a last resort kind of thing. You really do not want to resort to that just based on what kind of damage that could do to Megumi permanently, which we just don't know. There are definitely arguments on both sides. With Naoya healing from Soul Split while being wielded by Daido, it seems like maybe Soul Split damage can be healed, but at the same time, we just don't know, and it doesn't seem like the cast and crew is willing to take that risk. Notably, they accidentally took the risk in the case of Gojo taking the risk by attacking Megumi's soul with Unlimited Void, but he just didn't know that was a thing. And I don't blame him for not knowing that was a thing, based on how the sure hit seemed to work previously. The whole soul damage attack stuff seems to be an addition that was added by Gege recently. I don't know. I feel like it was never really implied that the soul took damage, but I guess since it works on Mahito, it would be implied that the soul would be attacked too by Limited Void. So technically it is still built up there, but the soul damage of Soul Split probably a little bit too dangerous and a little bit too lethal to just willy-nilly throw out on people. So that's number one reason why Maki probably doesn't show up to this battlefield, because ultimately whatever damage she does do, most likely permanent. And if not permanent, a little bit too risky when they have alternative plans, such as the Executioner's Blade, which they assumed would specifically attack only Sukuna, and, this plan right here where they're going to punch apart Sukuna and Megumi. Solid. Decent reasoning why she's not there. This one, a little bit less excusable. I do genuinely wonder why she isn't here. Notably, Uraume, while we do know they are an incarnated person, meaning that Jacob's Ladder could probably come and one-shot them. Like, Angel, where are you? Angel, bring. I know you have one arm, but, Uraume's hops aren't that good. Could you just spawn in the sky and use Jacob's Ladder on Uraume so we can get this over with? No? Okay. But, that aside, Uraume, there's no one to save there. You can just drop Uraume. So, I don't know why she's not here. Presumably, it's to give Hakari Kinji a battle all his own. And, sure, we had Kashimo, but even he himself thinks he didn't really win that fight. So, maybe this is just a battle exclusively for Hakari to start cooking. And if not start cooking, actually cook a little bit and prove that he's not just an endurance machine or, a damage sponge or anything like that, and he can actually cook a little bit against somebody. But at the same time, it's entirely possible that now that Uraume, seemingly enough, has activated something akin to their domain expansion. I think. I don't actually... No, look at it. I don't even see the words domain expansion here. But, yeah, I don't see anything about domain. But this looks like a domain-type beat right here. So, right now, Maki could step in and immediately start cooking here, but at the same time, this does seem to be Hakari's fight. But, of course, with Hakari seemingly having his own fight against Uraume, and Sukuna seemingly having his own two battles against the main characters, and Kenjaku currently being Kinganu, that raises a question. What is she meant to do? That doesn't involve coming in and stealing another fight, or assisting in a jump. What kind of role is this woman meant to play now? Because all the villains are kind of gone. Notably, I could have sworn one was going to be left for her, or she's going to join in on something. But this seems to be the main play right now. And with the threat of Sukuna's domain seemingly enough being staved off by every single one of Yuji Todori's very, very, very consistent attacks that are slowly but surely wearing down Sukuna's control, And also Hikari's seemingly lack of issue against Urume. Don't get me wrong, he's done very little damage to Urume, but he's an endurance machine for a reason. So presumably he will be fine in an extensive battle, and presumably once he activates his domain, he'll get it up. If he managed to get his domain off against Urume the first time while he was in base, it's very likely he'll get it again, and then again, and then again, so he doesn't actually need any help. And while these two could use help, her help could be lethal. What's really the point of Maki? What is she really meant to do? What role is she meant to play? With Kenny already being gone. Kind of rough. The two main ideas that come to mind are admittedly that. Some fight theft or some permanent shutdowns. So, right now, let's go with fight theft, since that's the more common one. It's what a lot of people have been thinking is going to happen. It's what I'm also leaning towards. I don't like it, because it sucks for Maki, but it would be fine enough as a get back and a continuation and an extrapolation on her current journey, considering the journey's kind of been completed by the end of Sakurajima, but at the same time, kind of not. A lot of people are theorizing that she's going to appear here, right? Like, considering she has yet to show up and go over Sukuna, considering the fact that Urume is not a person who requires saving and can perish in any way, shape, or form, and the fact that ultimately, despite having extreme levels of power, able to drop kick Urume through numerous buildings, immediately catch up to them with casual sprints, and even run through their attacks and slam dunk them through numerous buildings. Even with all that, it's quite clear that Hikari's doing baby damage to the point where Urume seems to not take them as much of an issue, but acknowledges the fact that they are a bit less than human, or a bit more than human, and the fear of alienation and all that, and ultimately accepts Sakura Kinji is worthy of their full power. So, like, that's cool and all. But what if she just got... Like, this is still there. Notably, it would not be too outlandish. Because once again, much as I love Urume, they're not that important. It's why Hikari's fighting them. Look at the difference between Gojo's strongest students, the second strongest sorcerers of the modern day. We have Yuta Okkotsu going bar for bar, word for word, band for band, in some cases quite literally technique for technique, against the King of Curses. By the end of 250, he whips out Cleave on Sukuna. So, like, he's literally going even with him. And, yeah, the King of Curses, admittedly heavily weakened and heavily debuffed, but still, the King of Curses. And look at who Hikari's fighting. The chef. A person who cooks the King of Curses meals. Not the King of Curses. Not the backup of the King of Curses. Not a finger of the King. Nothing! He's fighting the chef. Why? Because that matches his narrative weight. Yuta Okkotsu, former main character, fighting alongside the current main character. Logical. Makes sense in terms of narrative weight. Akane Kinji. Random. Fighting another random. Makes sense narrative weight-wise. And unfortunately, as much as I like to glaze and gas Maki up, she's more of a Hikari than she is a Yuta Okkotsu. Like, don't get me wrong, she is one of the oldest characters in the series, conceptualization-wise. Like, she is around in JJK0. Like, she exists, she predates Sukuna, in terms of, like, character conceptualization. Sukuna does not exist in Zero. Just like domains do not exist in Zero. Just like Heavenly Restriction itself doesn't really seem to exist in Zero. A lot of concepts from the current manga do not exist in Zero. So Maki is most certainly older than all that. But so are Panda and Inumaki. And look at how much that got them. So, in terms of narrative weight, one, it makes sense that she wouldn't interfere in this battle, since it's not hers, even though it'd be very easy for her to interfere, and we'll talk about where she could interfere anyway. But, also, you know, two-man jump, another two-man jump against Urume would be valid, would be viable. And, once again, she would kind of make up for Hikari's current weakness, because remember, she has Soul Split. Meaning she doesn't necessarily have to worry about Urume's crazy durability, which we see on display throughout this entire chapter when they take very little damage from all of Hikari's jackpot amped attacks. So, Urume, this unstoppable, unbeatable ice wall. Oh no, what is Hikari Kinji meant to do other than try to outlast them? And this time he can't shove them in a lake, because that would not do anything to them. Oh no, what are we supposed to... Oh, we have Maki, who can just dice her head right off. Dice their head right off. Bada bing, bada bong, we're all good, right? So I could definitely see Maki playing a role like that. It would be kind of appropriate, considering a lot of her final moves are very like, boom, come out of the shadows, do something crazy. It fits into the whole idea of Toji and Toji Fujiguro and the nature of Heavenly Restriction users, or at least Zero Cursed Energy Heavenly Restriction users, where they're tactically smart, they play into the weaknesses and the exposed part of their opponents, they love to catch them off guard in moments where they're never expecting it, all the stuff like that. So, Maki popping out the Shadow Realm and just taking Urume's head off? Not the craziest thing I'd seen all day. So I wouldn't really be shocked if this was the primary outcome, because not only does it match up to Maki's narrative weight, since she's just not a main character, unfortunately. Big rips, she just isn't. So it makes sense that she's not going to end up fighting our main villain. Also, it keeps the integrity of Soul Split not wanting to be used on the Megami, someone who they're trying to save, and fits in the fact that Akari has no AP, and fits in the fact that she could show up with presumably little to no damage, even if this is a domain type scenario, because remember, she is immune to domains. The domain would not be able to recognize her, so she'd be able to cook Urume with basically no problems. So that's purpose number one. I think it's kind of boring. I kind of don't like it. I want, simultaneously, I want Hikari to get his own fight. Like, I just definitely do. I want Bro to, like, have his own thing so he can actually do his own thing and not win by water technicality. So I'd be sad if he got his fight stolen away, but at the same time, I want Maki to get something, so I'll take it. I'll take it if it's that or nothing, I will take that. But simultaneously, the other role she could play is permanently removing Sukuna. At least this variation of Sukuna, if you think other things will happen post this point, and you think this isn't the final battle. Genge's supposedly trying to end this year. When in this year, they didn't specify, but they're trying to end this year. So, it wouldn't be too bamboozling to me if this fella right here ended up getting cooked by the Jacob's Ladder sure hit. Because remember, Maki is immune to barriers and domains. And for the longest time, I was a little bit concerned on whether or not Soul Split was also immune. Because remember, Soul Split ends up getting trapped in beforehand with Dido. But one, not only is Soul Split not recognized by the sure hit of the domain since it's a cursed tool, but also Maki literally ran through different colonies with Soul Split, which was always a cursed tool, she just didn't know how to use it right. So, presumably, she could just walk right in and chop off the handyman. Like, legitimately. Whoa, what was that word? Legitimately, these two hands right here, they're holding up Hollow Wicker Basket. They're no longer holding up Hollow Wicker Basket, and then they can cook them. They can definitely cook them. Notably, a majority of the credit of the win would still end up going to Yuta and Yuji, considering they'd be the ones who would still beat the rest out of Megami, because presumably Maki wouldn't attack any further. But right here, right now, while Sukuna's domain is down, he's forced to do something that is holding them back a whole lot, and considering the extra arms are not in that, well, maybe they are? I don't know. I don't think so. It seems like they'd revert, considering what Sukuna says here. So it's very likely those extra arms probably aren't even a part of Megami Soul. They're part of Sukuna's soul manifestation. So cutting them off wouldn't do anything too lethal, and they would also allow us easy access to the rest of Sukuna by, vaporizing him and allowing Yuji and Yuta to punch Megami free. So that's the other major role I could see Maki playing. Either way, she's coming in to support and either set up a dub or just take a dub for herself. If I had to say which one I prefer more, it would still be her assisting in this, because I just want her to have some more interaction with Sukuna. She's one of the few characters who actually brings, genuine respect and interest out of Sukuna, and, actually has him respecting her and being like, whoa, Urume, nice work, you picked the right threat there. Not the boy, but the girl. Good job on that one. So I would love to see them have a little bit more interaction, and the face, I'd imagine Sukuna, he'd grin a little bit. He'd smile when Maki came out of nowhere and just, he'd be like, whoa, I forgot about you, girl. Nice work. And then he'd get vaporized. So I would prefer that in comparison to this, just because, I don't know. I mean, it would be a get back with Urume, though. Urume did grab and tag Maki in 215, so this would, legally speaking, be a get back. But at the same time, I don't want it. I would love to see her have more interaction with Sukuna. I'd love for Hikari to get his own fight in his own dub, and I would love for Maki to do something. But that is what I think. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think either of my roles for Maki make sense with what remains in the narrative? Do you guys have other roles Maki could hypothetically play? Do you have any idea where she actually is? When do you think Maki is going to appear? Please tell me all that and more in the comment section down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave missing Maki. Leave missing Maki in the comment section. down below. The thing is, so much for watching. Please to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you can not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also want to become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the live reactions to the very next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron or $25 member, you can order any video of your choosing, meaning I will make it right for you. But now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, Greyhound, and Atkins Void. I'd like to give another big thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, RNG Master, Midnight Gemlord, Metal Solid Crisis, Kevin, Igneal, and Demix LND. Another scrumptious thank you to our $7 members, Autumn, Mornings, Lazo, and Sick Addiction. And I'd like to give another hefty thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, Idemokami, and China Doll 09. And I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. And I'd like to give a thank you, an amazing thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder. And another thank you to our next $25 patron, eHack1. And a final thank you to our final $25 patron, Stira.